Epifanes PP is a two-component clear build-up varnish that can be applied quickly with fast overcoat and drying times. This is the perfect product for quick surface build-up and wood grain filling. In this video we're going to take a look at where you can use this and how to apply it. So this is a high gloss, two-part clear build-up varnish that offers good UV resistance and fast build-up times. Unlike most other two-part products, it retains good flexibility once cured, and so can be used for working, flexing and non-stable wood surfaces. It can be applied over any type of wood, even teak, so all in all this is a pretty versatile varnish. I use this almost entirely now for the build-up stages of my varnish systems these days. Although this product has good UV protection, it is designed as a build-up varnish and so should be finished off with a top coat. Any of the Epifanes varnish products are suitable for this. Traditional Gloss Varnish, Rubbed Effect for a satin finish, polyurethane clear coat or PU speed coat as a few examples. So let's get on to application. Prep sand your bare wood surface to 180 grit. Do this in the direction of the wood grain to avoid creating cross-grain scratches that will show through later on down the line. Once you've sanded the surface, vacuum off any remaining dust and degrease the surface with the Epifanes PP varnish thinner. If you are applying over teak, then pay particular attention to this step. Use a white cloth for the process and continue degreasing until no more colour is coming off on the cloth. Acetone can also be used for this process with teak. Whilst that's flashing off, let's get our varnish mixed up. This is a two-part product, so we first need to mix the two components. The mix ratio for this is 1:1 by either volume or weight, so you'll need a graduated mixing cup for this or a set of scales, whichever you prefer. I find scales are more accurate, particularly when mixing smaller volumes. Measure out your desired volume or weight of component A into the mixing cup, add the same volume or weight of component B and mix the two together thoroughly. Now you have an induction time with this product, meaning it wants to sit for a while to allow the reaction between both components to begin. Once mixed, leave the product in the mixing cup for around 5 to 10 minutes at 20 degrees C. This is the perfect time to have a check back on your surface and take one last look over it. Get anything that you might need ready, including your brush, which is what you will want to use for application of the first coat. Once you're ready to go, head back to the varnish and add your thinners. Thin the first coat 25% for teak and 30 to 40% for all other woods. Do this by volume, mix thoroughly, and then you are ready for application. Apply the first coats with a brush, working it well into the wood grain and finishing up with a tipping pass in the direction of the wood grain. You will note that due to the amount of thinner applied, this will soak into the wood grain quickly. This is what you want for long-term protection and adhesion. Now, because this is a two-part product, you have the benefit of wet-on-wet application. Additional coats can be applied on top of the first one without the need for sanding in between, providing that this is done within a 48-hour window. If you apply after this window, then the surface must be keyed up again. With wet-on-wet application, ensure that you leave enough time between coats for the solvent to fully evaporate, particularly with this heavily thinned initial coat. Leave this for around 2 to 3 hours at a temperature of 20 degrees C. Longer may be required at cooler temperatures. Next, apply coats 2 and 3 in the same manner, the only difference being that these should be thinned to 10%. Allow these first 3 coats to fully dry. That time frame is going to be around 24 hours at 20 degrees C or 30 hours at 15 degrees C. Sand your surface to 320 grit this time around. A light D-nib is all that is required. A Scotch-Brite pad is a good idea at this stage for sufficient keying of the surface without the risk of removing too much material. Vacuum off, degrease and run over the surface with a tack cloth. I always do my final tack cloth whilst I'm letting the induction time happen after the varnish is mixed. From here on out, build coats at full thickness with no thinner added if you are applying by brush or roller. Application of these next coats can now also be done with spray if desired. Recommended spray gun settings for this product. If you are using a reduced pressure gun, thin at 10 to 25%, use a 1.2 to 1.6 mm nozzle, set your pressure at 2 to 2.5 bar, and remember that should be set when the gun's trigger is in the wide open setting. For checking the varnish's viscosity, use a 4 mm din cup. This should measure a time of 18 to 20 seconds. For HVLP guns, thin at 10 to 25%, use a 1.3 to 1.8 mm nozzle, set your pressure at 2.5 to 3.5 bar, and again your din cup specs are 18 to 20 seconds at 4 mm. After you've checked your surface and got your gun set up, add your thinner by volume in the percentage range I just mentioned. Mix this in thoroughly and then transfer the product into your spray gun. Set up your spray gun for your desired pattern based on the shape that you are applying to. I like to use a handspan width to get a balanced application area and spray distance. You should be seeing a nicely atomized spray at this point. If not, adjust your paint to air ratio to find a good balance. Repeat the coating process with your desired application method in groups of 3 coats, sanding to 320 grit after each third coat. Apply a minimum of 4 coats in total, more are certainly recommended. I personally would not apply anything less than 6 coats of PP before moving on to my top coat. Once you've finished applying your build-up coats, sand the PP varnish in the same way again and proceed with the application of your chosen top coat. Take a look at some of my other videos for application guides on various top coat systems. So there we go, a quick building, grain filling, flexible 2-part varnish. I hope you enjoyed the video and now you can get to work building some deep gloss wood finishes. Cheers guys, catch you in the next one.